Dave Castleman here with Castleman's Canada. I welcome you again to another show. Today we're in Bergen, Alberta for the second annual Bergen Rocks Symposium, and this is where the sculptors come from all over the world and carve rocks. Today I am with Paul Haggins. He's from Ireland, and let's talk to Paul right now and find out a little bit about his philosophy of rock carving.
Hello.
Paul, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, my name is Paul Haggins. 42 years old. Come from a place in Ireland on the east coast. It's about 30 miles north of Dublin, a place called Drogheda. And a lot of you get inspiration from a lot of places, but growing up in and around the Boyne Valley and the River Boyne and all its ancient sculptures dotted along the landscape, so that's probably where I got the inspiration for this piece. It's going to be another Celtic Cross, but with a bit of a twist. We're going to have a sort of a jigsaw effect of panels coming up from the bottom up to the top, and on each panel then we're going to have a different design carved onto each one. On the back then, when I turn it over, I'm going to carve a feather right up the full length of the cross. The cross is going to be about 4.5 meters tall, and so we'll incorporate Canada again, the ancient cultures of Canada and the ancient cultures of Ireland in a different piece, similar to last year's.
Paul, tell me a little bit about the Celtic Cross. So last year you did a Celtic Cross, this year you're doing it again, but there must be some significance in the history of the cross itself that's got symbolism built into it, and certainly wouldn't be a feather because you're putting that in because of Canada. But where does that cross come from?
Well, right. Well, the Celtic Cross, I just like the shape, the outline shape of the Celtic Cross. It appeals to me. I can see the art form in it and the way the sculptors, 1,000 years ago, maybe more, would have carved it. I'm just putting a large feather on for the native Canadian people, but there's some crosses in Ireland that would take scenes from the Old Testament and put it on it, so it's not that dissimilar from what I'm doing.
When you say take scenes from the Old Testament, they would take an action scene and then actually carve that whole piece, that picture, right onto the cross?
Yeah, well, on Murdoch's Cross in Monaster Boyce, which is about 7 miles away from where I live, you'd have Adam and Eve on the bottom panel. So you'd have a tree in the middle and a man on one side, a woman on the other, and the serpent coming down the tree. Then you'd have another scene of Samson and Delilah and Cain and Abel, so on and so forth.
Paul, tell me a little bit about your history in the world of art.
Okay. When I left school, I wasn't really big into art. I was more interested in stone. And I started off in Germany doing restoration on a church. Moved to Italy then on an employment exchange for about 3 months. Came back to Ireland, worked a bit on headstones, and then moved into restoration of castles. And while I was doing the work on restoration castles up in Dublin, I went to evening classes in clay modelling and wood carving to get a feel for form. I still continued with the stonework, and I took a sabbatical then for 2 years, and I went to Carrara in Italy and Rome, and for a year, and then a year to Taiwan, where I done more in sculpting. Then since then I came back to Ireland, where I continued on with the sculpting work and started doing symposium, where on one in Chao Doc in Vietnam I met Morton, who is the creator of this wonderful place. And I was here last year, and it's a pleasure to be given the invite to come back again this year. So hat off to Morton for that, for firstly having the insight and the inspiration to start from scratch and just make this such a wonderful occasion to be at. So.
Do you still have your first piece of art?
No, that was my hurdle. Once I overcame that, I don't mind selling them on. You kind of tell yourself, oh, I can create another one exactly the same or whatever, but that's not always the case. But no, I don't mind.
Do you still make tombstones?
Just the occasion custom ones now, because I suppose I've moved on and got more artistic. So I just, what I've learned on the journey to get where I am wouldn't excite me as much. So, yeah. And
you didn't make your own?
Well, I've started a cross back home in Ireland, and I don't know, I really like it. So if it doesn't sell, well then that could be it. It could be a bit similar to this one here, but this one here is a maquette for the main cross I'm doing here. This one stands at about 30 centimeters high, so I'm going to make it about 14 times or 15 times the size of this here. The feather at the front, I'm going to have it completely carved right up the back. And this top part of the cross, or this part here, is a typical cross, Celtic cross in Ireland. And I'd seen the similarities then of a jigsaw puzzle in here, so I put a few extra ones here, and then down on the front you can see this piece slots into here and here, and so on and so forth. On this one, I'll probably put the sundial up at the top here, move this tri-spiral from Newgrange down to that panel, and carve some maybe Canadian symbols on each of these, time willing. So yeah, that's my model, carved in wood. So there you go. Now I'm happy enough that I got the best and the biggest piece out of the stone, that I have the cross marked on it. So it's all ready now for drilling to knock off the big lumps, the waste, and that's it. I'll get cracking on that now. We're coming near the end of the symposium now. Saturday is going to be the closing day. Today is Wednesday, so Friday morning the crane's going to come and erect all the sculptures onto their bases. I'm just working on the feather at the back of the cross. It goes from top to bottom, and trying to finish it as quickly as possible, but keep the detail also. And I still have a bit more work to do on the underside, which is the face of the cross. I have to turn it over and do some work on it, perhaps tomorrow, I'd say. I hope to finish the feather today, probably late this evening, and then it's a matter of trying to erect the sundial onto the centre of the cross, and a jigsaw pattern up the shaft. So fingers crossed and touch wood.
Yeah.
Everything will go as planned. And not too much pressure involved, but from experience of symposiums there's always pressure at the end, and it's managing to cope with that that's the difficult piece. Well, that's the last part of the feather, to get the hairs combed. Then the bone of the feather here I'm going to have to work on and touch that up, and as soon as all is done and I'm happy with it, well then we'll go for a twist.
This is your stylized sculpture?
Well,
style?
You talk about the bold texture here. I like leaving the journey of how the sculpture was created. So each chisel mark is left there for people to see in years to come. Same way as our ancestors have left little snippets of how they lived. So that's what interests me.
Don't polish on in surface. It's not.
No, not even the surface. I don't polish. I just like natural. For me,
you like it
natural.
Yeah, I like. Me too.
You know.
Yeah. And in marble, you don't polish sometimes.
I don't like. It doesn't appeal to me. So
yeah,
it doesn't.
Sculpture quality.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't suit my style.
Yeah, stone itself
should be seen as natural in its natural state, in its natural form, inside and well.
I
This
see
here. What?
Some area use the natural hair.
Yeah. Well, all four or all three,
Yeah.
top and two sides are all natural of the rock,
Yeah.
and then we just cut the shape out of it and leave as much of the
Very
old
big
as
stone was very big. I saw you drill 2 days, just drill it.
yeah. Well, that's it. Drill, and then knock off. You know. But yeah, Friday morning will tell a lot. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe Dave will be here for the erection and all that goes with that. The stresses and whatnots. Well, we'll touch wood and hope for the best, because this is the tricky part coming up here now. Putting the cross down, see which way it sits, and to see it standing up for the first time, everything will shoot at me at once, so I'll let you know how it goes afterwards. That's my only words of wisdom, and touching wood again for luck.
There it is.
Well, a little more. She's
A little
rocking,
more?
yeah.
Okay, it's rocking a bit, just a bit. Get off? Okay. Give her a wiggle. Woo-hoo! Boy, it's a nice fit.
Right. Well, Dave, if I didn't say I was anxious before the piece went up, I wouldn't have been telling the truth. So I'm really delighted the way it looks, the way it's standing up. everything about it. I'm really happy about the erection of it. So I could just say no more. I'm just as I say, over the moon. I'm delighted. Made me day. Eating all that stone. I was told by the train driver that it was 30,000 pounds, and then when he checked it, lifted it this morning, he says it's down to 5,700. So I'm after eating about 6 times the weight of it off over the month. So not bad for a beginner and an Irishman.